Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Church at Home with Rachel, or maybe I should say, welcome back to me. Sorry about the delay. Our move got sort of delayed, and all of our stuff didn't get delivered until last Wednesday. And then I have been stinking busy between work and trying to unpack boxes and can't find anything. We are still eating out because we can't find our kitchen. The new place has got lots of space, but we have a lot of stuff. And the way the packers box things, there are things like we had 3 boxes in the bedroom. One of them had 4 boxes in the bedroom. One of them had a pile of paper and 4 pair of shoes, like a big 2 cubic foot box. 2 cubic foot box had a lampshade. Another one had another lampshade that could easily have been stacked on top of each other in one box with other things. And one had Rob's pea cap, the former sailor's hat that he wears with his uniform. That was it in the box. So I don't think it's so much that we have a lot of stuff. We just have a lot of boxes with a little bit of stuff in each one. So things have just been absolutely insane, and it's taken me a while to get back and able to record Church at Home. So here I go. We're back. I'm off to the PAW this weekend, but my hope is that I will have videos for Friday and Monday and Gospel on the Go, God willing. It will be up and running as well. It won't be published until I get back. So if you automatically receive notifications, you'll find that, but you'll have to wait if you want to see it on Facebook for later. What I would like to talk about today is a program called Sacred Beginnings that the Anglican Church of Canada has been putting on. This year is its second year, and right now, Sacred Beginnings, second year is happening. It started on Sunday evening and will go until next Sunday, and it is a gathering of Indigenous and non-Indigenous youth in a setting in which the traditional Indigenous teachings are shared with Christian teachings, and our young people are offered the opportunity to learn new ways of walking the path together. There's all kinds of stuff. This week they're doing moccasin making, and they had a beautiful session yesterday called about the 7 great teachings, and then that melded into a discussion of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. They have fire keepers who will started the fire early Monday morning and will continue the fire going right through the rest of the week. People who tend the fire, who do not let the fire go out, so that the young people and all of the leaders, the mentors, the elders, the partners know that there is a sacred fire burning the whole time they're there. The idea was that they would have sweats, and that's an important part of the Indigenous culture. I think something happened and they're not able to do that, so they're substituting something this year. But the sweat is an important part of the learning of what it is as an Indigenous person. And one of the incredible gifts we had yesterday was that our speaker taught us about, Vince, taught us about smudging, and how smudging is not contrary to Christianity. And he talked about each act of the smudge as a Christian act of what we're doing. And I think it was really good for the young people in particular, because it gave them the opportunity to recognize that traditional teachings are not contrary to Christian teachings. The things that their ancestors have taught them do not automatically mean that they have to be untaught or unlearned because of Christianity. Quite to the contrary, Christianity and the traditions of the elders can go hand in hand, and really should in some cases. And so the work is being done around decolonialization, not in a way of dismantling something in a negative way, but in a way of remembering. And I don't just mean remembering as in your memory, but remembering, putting the members back together, finding those ways that our young people can recognize that what is good of the past, what is good of the tradition, and what is good of the Christian faith can come together. They are not contradictory, quite the opposite. God has made them quite complementary. In some cases, they're the same, and we just need to recoup that, recover that, reclaim that. It was a powerful day for me because I knew I was standing on sacred ground, Now the ground is sacred. It's the Sandy Soto Center in outside Beausejour in Manitoba, about 3 hours away from Brandon. So I got up early, got there just after breakfast, and stayed until after supper last night, and then drove back and got in about 10:30 p.m. Sorry, you're seeing this on Wednesday. I'm recording Tuesday. When I say yesterday, I mean Monday. And there was a lot was going on. They had some kerfuffles. It's like the sophomore year. Whenever you do a program, you write a book, you produce a record album or something, there seems to be that sophomore curse, that sense that you can't live up to what you did before. And quite often we can't. But the clue is that we're not meant to. We're meant to do a new thing. And somehow, and this has happened to me so many times, the second time you do it, you have all these great things, these ideas, and this is the potential of something because it went so well the first time. And you build it up so much, and then the second time it kind of crashes. And sometimes I think that's because people don't want it to live up to what it was. The participants, the people who worked at it, they're so excited about what they did last time that worked so well. It's almost like we sabotage the second time round. But the second time round is that trial time. It's the time of figuring out what works and what doesn't work. What do we need to do to tweak? What do we need to change? What do we need to keep to make sure that the third time is even better? And I think there was a sense of that yesterday with the leadership, that there was people are tired. This didn't work out the way they had hoped it would. There were some people who weren't able to come and some people who left early, that would have made the whole experience incredibly different. But the truth is, I really do believe that who is called to be there will be there. Yes, if there were, 25 young people instead of just a handful, there's a different dynamic and new learnings and opportunities. But the few people who were there, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, the leaders, the partners, the elders who were there, all had something specific to give. All were coming from a specific place in their life that at that moment, I believe, was what was needed for one another. And so my prayer for them at Sacred Beginnings as they continue all through this week is not that they look back and say, how come it can't be what it was last year? But not that they look forward and think, well, how can we make it better for next year? But simply to be present, to sit on that sacred ground, to think about the 7 Cree teachings, to recognize the beauty and the wholeness and the potential and the possibilities that come from that small group that is gathered, that small group that can gather around the sacred fire, that small group that presents tobacco as a gift, as a thank you to those people who come and share their skills, their stories, their wisdom. I think there's something to be said for all of us recognizing that our sacred beginnings are important. And sometimes those sacred beginnings in our lives are the second time through. Because the first time, we've begun something, we're trying a new thing. We don't necessarily pay attention to all the nitty gritty. We're so focused on the bigger outcome. Our true sacred beginning might be indeed when we try something the second time, because that is when we know the ground upon which we sit is sacred. That is when we know and recognize that the work that we are doing is indeed sacred. It takes experience to recognize the sacred. It takes the second time through to recognize that what we are doing is indeed a sacred beginning. I ask your prayers all this week for the young people, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, for the members of the group who are leading it, for the elders, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, who are leading this group, for the fire keepers and the cooks and all of the people who are driving around and getting supplies and taking care of everything. I ask that you would pray for them and ask God's blessing upon them, that they will learn from this sacred beginning, and they will take something away with them that will help them continue to begin in a sacred way in the lives that they live when they go home. Have a great day. God bless you. And I will see you again on Thursday for Church at Home with Rachel.